Streaming and recording. And we are live. Hello everyone, Dreamcast 720 here. Today, I'm joined by the Realist Pinkster. And we're going to be talking about the Doctor Strange movie.
Yay!
Yay! Now, the Doctor Strange movie, I have to say, right off the bat, I enjoyed the movie. I thought that Benedict Cumberbatch did a fantastic job.
Oh my god, finally a movie that you like
together. I know, it's like a movie I liked. It's like, oh my god.
Right?
He likes this movie. Oh my god. I mean, it was. Benedict Cumberbatch did a very good job. He, I know that when he was given the role, he had actually dressed in the costume, went into comic book stores and bought up everything Doctor Strange he could get his hands on.
Right, because it was supposed to be originally Walking Phoenix. That was going to be our Doctor Strange, was Walking Phoenix.
See, that would have been terrible. That would have been absolutely just a terrible thing.
Yeah, and the thing about Joaquin is that he is very much a method actor. He would have been Doctor Strange for the entire time that he was cast as Doctor Strange.
Right. See, that would have... No. I mean, Benedict Cumberbatch, he had the look. They did a really good job in getting him the look. And
he looks so good as Doctor Strange. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm not going to say that Doctor Strange didn't have its fault. But yes, I actually enjoyed Doctor Strange. I mean, I enjoyed the Avengers movies too. It's just that having been a long-time comic book reader, I saw the fault. So that was a little bit different. I mean, there aren't many of the Marvel movies that I just really downright didn't like. I mean, you know, I saw the faults. Like you said, having been a comic reader for, well, let's just say far too long, without dating myself a little bit, but having
forever.
Yes, forever. So having, you know, you have a certain expectation as a comic book reader. You know, when you go in and you see these stories being made into cinematic movies, and you realize, okay, well, yeah, they've got to change it. In some cases, it's a whole different generation who just, let's just face it, they don't get it. They can't relate to it. And you know, if you really kind of go into the first Captain America movie, where it takes place in World War II, which is way before my time, but you have an appreciation for it, where for some people they don't get it, they don't understand it. Those were the old days, that kind of thing. That
and see, and I get it as, you know, me who sits, you know, back and forth between Gen X and millennial, and there's just things that I'm not relatable to. But I've had people who are older than me in my life, these things resonate with them. Like the World War II scenes with Captain America, and, you know, as it continues going, which, you know, continues on. And, you know, for me, I'm not a 90s baby because I wasn't born in the 90s, but that was my teen years. So when, you know, allegedly Captain America goes out and she's supposed to be in that era, that's going to resonate more to me than just about everything else. So,
right. But
because I didn't grow up reading Captain America, I grew up.
Right.
I didn't.
Oh, I did. See, that was one of my absolute favorites back in the day. And I mean, you know, but I mean, I'm one who likes those patriotic type books, you know, the Captain Americas, the Fighting American, you know, your Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, those types of books. So I mean, I enjoyed those books, but I was a big time Captain America reader when I was younger, as well as, I mean, I read others like Star Wars and Doctor Strange and the Silver Surfer, but I mean, Cap was my main book, and it was just, you know, and like I said, it's I think it's a generational thing, because when you look at where the switchover happened, you had, like, the X-Men really took off. I mean, really, when you get, I would say probably about 1984, 85, I mean, the X-Men really, really took off. You had the introduction of a bunch of new characters. You had Gambit, you had Bishop, you had all of these new characters that were coming in, and that's why, in I think it was 1990, when they relaunched the X-Men, that X-Men #1 had like an 8.5 million print run, as the largest print run of any book in history. Of a comic book, that is. So, I mean, like I said, it's a generational thing, but that's, like I said, that's a whole different subject we're kind of getting on. But anyway, the Doctor Strange movie itself, like I said, Cumberbatch did a fantastic job. It had a sort of Matrix feel to it.
See, I didn't get that, but that's okay.
You didn't get that feel to it? Oh, see, when
No.
especially when the Ancient One is chasing them when they're in the city there, and you
New
see
York.
the building in New York, and they're and the buildings are kind of folding, and they're doing all of that. I had that whole Matrixy feel. That was, I just was having a flashback going, oh my god, I'm watching The Matrix all of a sudden. Not to say that it wasn't very cool. I mean, I like that they covered, special effects wise, the Mystic Arch really well, and what they could do. I like how the world was actually 4-dimensional. It wasn't just 3-dimensional, it was 4-dimensional.
Right. It was 4-dimensional.
And, and I love the way that they did that. But I had a flashback of The Matrix. And then when
you're just waiting for Lawrence Fishburne to come out and say, here's the red pill.
You want the red pill or the blue pill? And because, well, when the Ancient One has the conversation with Doctor Strange, I was almost waiting for that moment to happen.
Yeah, take the red pill. Stay in Wonderland.
Right. He goes, here, take the red pill and see how far the rabbit hole goes, or you can take the blue pill and go back to everything the way it was. But
you won't have your hands either way, so there you go.
But what was funny about that is when you see her take off the cloak, that almost like Jedi type moment when she's walking down the street, and she takes the upper part of the cloak off her head and starts walking down the street. All I kept seeing was Lieutenant Ilia from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Especially when they're in the temple and they're doing the training, and he's when the Baron was explaining to Doctor Strange about the Ancient One and her mission and so forth and so on, and then you see her, and she, at first she's kind of waving the fan and she's kind of watching, and then you see her kind of with her hands behind her back and just kind of walking, and all I kept seeing was Lieutenant Ilia. I was like, okay, this is just so not right here. I mean, but that's what I kept seeing. And it is little things in there that are going to do that, depending upon, if you've seen Star Trek: The Motion Picture, The Matrix, some of those kinds of things, you're like, oh wow, that reminds me of that, or at least for me, because I've not necessarily The Matrix so much, but I've probably seen Star Trek: The Motion Picture 250 times, maybe.
Right.
So, so it just really kind of stuck out, because you just don't see that bald white woman type character. You just don't see it, so of course you're going to associate it with what you saw last. So, but I mean, it was good except for the car crash. Now, see, I had to go into some bitching about this movie. That car crash.
Oh god,
that mofo was dead. That mofo was dead. No, it wasn't just his hands. His head wasn't all messed up. No, he was dead. I mean, I kept rewinding the car crash. Watched it 6 or 7 times. I'm like, no, he's dead.
why are you watching it so many times, though?
Well, I kept going back because I'm going, okay, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's some way the car flips that he were to survive. No, you see that smash, the flip, and then you see the car start tumbling. Then it smashes off that cliff, comes down, rolls again, and then poof, is right in the... And I'm like, no. No, that airbag was not going to save him. He was dead. He would have been crushed. The whole dash would have crushed him. I mean, remember, this car is made out of fiberglass. This isn't carbon fiber. I mean, if this was a carbon fiber built car,
I think you just going just the overboard with the whole. This dude should have been crushed.
Well, no, but the difference is, if this were a carbon fiber built car, I'd have been like, okay. But they went so far overboard with this crash that no, you're looking at no, he's dead.
And I don't think
you can't suspend your disbelief there. You're like, no, he's dead.
No, and let me tell you why. First,
okay, tell me why.
First of all, again, this is also he's based on a comic book superhero. That yes, until after the accident, he didn't have all this happening to the Mr. Carts. But at the same time, when you know, speaking as a person who's actually role played the tabletop game for Marvel, Doctor Strange is in peak physical condition, and
doesn't make any difference.
Okay.
No. and let me tell you from somebody who has also role played the tabletop edition of Marvel, thank you. That's fine. But the difference is that even in top physical condition, I mean, and when you see Benedict Cumberbatch when he's getting in the tux and pulling out the one watch and gets in the car, you can tell the guy's in fantastic shape.
Yes.
But there's a certain amount of reality that comes in when you're looking at the car, the crash, how it rolled. That I'm going, no. I said there are a lot of things I can suspend my disbelief in this movie. That's not one of them. They didn't have to go that overboard. I mean, they could have sat there and had him done the crash, had the car like flip 2 or 3 times. Upside down, the bag deployed, the glass broke, the whole bit, and accomplished the same thing. But no, he rolls and rolls, and this car flips and goes down that embankment and off the cliff, and I'm going, no. Sorry. You went way overboard to demonstrate this crash, and that was not necessary. To say that his hands are fucked up. Okay, I get that that's what you have to do, but you guys went way overboard. He's dead. When you stick a fork in him, he's done. And my only other, I have to say, kind of really real, I don't know if it's a real gripe, but really kind of you're just looking at like, what the hell, is Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Stunning woman. As far as, I mean, looks-wise, she's very stunning. Is a good actress. I mean, I've seen her in other things. But in here, you're just kind of going... She
was there because she was pretty.
Well, but the way she just... Yeah, I'm going to take everything in stride. It's not a big deal. This all happens every day. I'm going to take it in stride. Oh, yeah, this is my astral body. Oh, okay. Okay. Just takes everything in stride, like... Because... when he's in his astral form and he's looking at her and she's just kind of like, okay, I wanted to ask her, I'm like, do you do coke and stuff that this stuff is this is like normal for you? To see somebody's astral projection? I mean, seriously? Do you LSD, some meth, coke? I mean, an astral projection is hey, that's no big deal. He just appears out of nowhere 2 or 3 times.
She had this like, oh my God, look on her face.
Well, she had a couple of freak out moments, but I mean, all of a sudden he just starts appearing out of nowhere, and I do like the way she makes fun of him when they're going in the broom closet. He's like, I gotta go. And she's like, from the broom closet. That part was really good. I did like where he's like, you're gonna go in the broom closet, really. And then the portal gets open and and then as he walks through and she's like, oh my God. Then of course gets called to the ER, and and all of that, and so you just kind of go, okay,
Okay, you also have to understand her character, which is Christine Palmer,
right?
isn't a big deal, and they had to take this little bitty part in this little bitty insignificant character in the major Doctor Strange world and continue to flesh her out to be
Well, but
what she
in the book,
was.
she's not a minor character.
No, they're basically you're saying that she was a minor character.
Well, in the movies, yeah, they write her as a minor character. In the book, she's not a minor character because actually, when you look at like a lot of the original Thor books,
Yeah.
when he's here on Earth and he's a doctor as well, and then does the staff change that changes him into Thor. If you look at some of the early ones, I mean, you know, a lot of these characters that seem minor, I mean, have bigger roles than you think. I mean, because there's always, and that was one thing that Marvel of the 60s was really good for. Most of their characters had some form of love interest of some kind because
Yes.
they had to have everyday problems. You know, that was the Marvel way, is that the superhero has to have everyday problems, though. Just because I have all this power doesn't mean, you know, you're not worried about love and family and etc. and so on. So, but I mean, it just amazed me how just after a while she just took it all in stride. Like, okay, this happens every day. I'm not worried. You know. Um, but what I didn't get, you know, the rest of it went pretty smooth. I mean, you have to say that. And I know I'm gonna mess up his name terribly. Mads
Yes.
Mikkelsen
Mickelson.
did a fantastic job, but he
He
always
did.
does. He plays the bad
He's
guy
so
well.
good. Yes, he's so good at it.
I mean, he plays the bad guy well, and you know, so he did a fantastic job. I do love what they did with Dormammu. I mean,
Yeah.
I like the look was really well. The whole, you know, kind of like the Thor line. I can do this all day.
Yep.
I've come to make a bargain. And he goes, I will crush you to the end of time, and we will do this. He goes, well, it's like I could do this all day, every day.
Yeah. Did you know that Benedict Cumberbatch did the voice for Dormammu too?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, wait, he did the voice for Dormammu? It's like, oh, okay, sure. I
Well, and
did.
I'm sure that had to be strange because when he was doing that, looking at a green screen, and then they're telling you, okay, you got smashed here, fall down, or you know, what was it? The hammer, the one he got smashed one time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and all the different, you know, there were 3 or 4 times all the different things, and to have to sit there and act that out, and then especially think about it, if they were playing back your own voice, that's got to kind of freak you out. You know, I
Well,
mean, the only character that really kind of switched, which you kind of are like, that doesn't make much sense though, is Baron Mordo. Now you see him in the beginning, and he's you know this. In a sense, it had almost a Black Panther feel to it. This is our great and noble cause, and everything we're doing is noble and must protect the good realm and the mystic arts and all of that. And then in the end, he's just like, nope, I'm gonna walk away.
right.
What? I'm gonna walk away. This isn't right. All because the Ancient One's power came from Dormammu. The dark power. That's what kept her alive for so many centuries. Yet she used the power to protect the realms, but that's still somehow wrong. And I'm like,
Because she taught them that everything about him and everything from that dark realm was a negative thing.
well,
And he
it's
just
it's
can't.
evil, but the problem with that is that while that is true,
because it's a moral contradiction.
well, but the the moral contradiction comes in though. If she was drawing her power from essentially the Dark Realm to protect the rest of the realms,
Yeah.
and was not using that power for inherent evil, where does the moral contradiction come from? Because if you can't stop it, remember, that's the thing that they're telling you is you can't outright stop it, but what we have to do is protect it from coming in this realm. So I don't see, so if you're using their own power against them to protect this realm, where is the moral contradiction is what I'm asking. And that's why when he says, I can't do this anymore, this is wrong, and I'm out of here, and I'm going, what? And then as you get into, and I mean, I have to say the epic battle was good.
Right.
I love that. I love the little quip about where Wong tells Doctor Strange about the Infinity Stone, and he's like, "What's an Infinity Stone?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm laughing because I mean, anybody that saw the movie that was a comic book reader that had not seen the Avengers and everything beforehand, if you were a regular comic book reader, you knew the minute he started turning back time that yes, that's the Time Stone.
The Time Stone.
And if you didn't, even the acknowledgement that this is an Infinity Stone should have told you, yeah, this is the Time Stone, so you have one of the gems, you know where it's at.
Right.
And and I still love that even though he discovered how to use, and I always get, what's the name of the necklace?
The necklace,
and I should know this, and it's that.
Gee, I don't like you right now. The Eye of
Agamemnon. Yeah, I never, like I said, and I always end up messing up the name. The Eye of Agamemnon. But I mean,
Agamotto.
Yes, that. The necklace. I'm gonna go there. The Time Stone. Like I said, because I always mess up the name. But I mean, I love that even at the end, through being able to manipulate the Time Stone to kind of reset everything back to a point.
Yes.
To stop it, that he was still, when he puts the necklace back on the altar and is still so naive about so much, and even Wong just kind of rolls, when he says it's an Infinity Stone, he's like, what's an Infinity Stone? You see Wong kind of roll his eyes, going, oh god, we still got a lot to learn, and off they go. But I like that they did that. There was no, all of a sudden, I am the Mystic Master. It's like, no. He was able to manipulate the Time Stone. He was a quick study on some other things, but no, he is not, at least at the end of the movie, he's not still the Doctor Strange we know and understand in the comic universe.
Right.
Which, I like that they did that. I like that, it wasn't automatically, well, okay, now I'm him and I'm the Mystic Master and
yeah. Let's, flash forward to where, I'm this guy.
Right. Well, and I mean, like you said, and the quips were good.
Man.
Everybody, Mr. Strange. No. It's not Strange or Mr. Strange. It's Dr. Stephen Strange. Oh,
yeah.
He goes, we'll see. And that's when they're in the New York temple,
the New York sanctum,
yeah, and the little quips and were pretty good, and the cape, the cloak, I should say, it's the cloak, right?
It's so good that they actually did the cloak.
Right.
So well that it became his own character. The cloak became
a
character all by itself.
Well, and I love when he's looking in the mirror, puts up the collar, and starts smacking him.
Yeah, slap, 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 slap. He's like, stop.
He's like, "Hey, enough already." He's like, "Okay," and he kind of lays back like he's supposed to.
Like, ah.
Right, and I mean, the other thing I didn't care for. Well, I do like you said, in the first part of the credits, you get the awesome scene from Thor Ragnarok where Thor comes to visit him, and
Oh yeah.
he's like, "I'm not a tea drinker," and then he gives him the big mug of beer, and it's like
And he
running
keeps
empty,
filling it
and he
back
starts
up.
filling it back up right in
I was
front
like,
of
are
him.
you trying to get this guy drunk? It's like,
Right.
here.
And so like you said, I that was good. That was a good little scene out of there. But when they set up the sequel, I was bummed
Mhm.
out. I was really bummed out when they set up for the sequel for it. When Baron goes to kill,
Jonathan Pangborn.
yeah, when he goes to kill Jonathan Penguin. Well, he doesn't go to kill him, but he goes to take the power out of him so he can't move anymore. He goes back to being an invalid. And basically, and then tells you he's gonna go after Doctor Strange, and I'm like, okay, there's none of that doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
That goes with the ending. It's like I don't understand that. You said it was a moral paradox, and I'm going, I don't see it. And then to do that, and it's just like, so are you trying to say that the power within Jonathan was also evil? Why is
Yeah.
it not? So what you're saying is that all mystic arts are evil? That all mystic arts draw power from Dormammu, which is evil? No, I don't see. That's not right.
No, and he says this: I have been away for many months now, and I've had a revelation. The true purpose of a sorcerer is to twist things out of their proper shape, stealing power, perverting nature, like you. And then Jonathan says to him, I've stolen nothing. This is my power. It's mine. And Baron Mordo says, power has a purpose. And that's when he steals the power and returns him back to being paralyzed. And
Right.
Jonathan asks, well, why are you doing this? And Baron Mordo says, because I see at long last what is wrong with the world. Too many sorcerers.
Too many
So
sorcerers.
so he's basically saying, none of you not Strange, not anybody who trains in the mystic arts belong on this world.
Well, right, and that's. But I mean, somewhere in there, you have to come across that as the moral paradox or whatever. If there are too many sorcerers
Hmm.
and not enough, and that they almost have a purpose, they almost have a deeper meaning or power hungry purpose or something.
Hmm.
So and that's where he's going is, okay, I'm going to reshape it and I'm going to use the power, so to speak. Whereas you have your Doctor Strange and Wong and others who are just like, no, I'm not here to reshape the world. I'm here to protect this realm, and that's it. It's not my place to reshape what people think of normal society. It is my job to protect this realm from the evil of Dormammu or any other mystic creature that comes within this realm. And that's where the failing to me kind of happens. I mean, I see where they're going. I'm just not real thrilled with it. That's all. I'm like, really,
Yeah.
the deep history of Doctor Strange, and that's what you came up with?
Yeah, there is basically Baron is being their conscience, is saying that the Ancient One led us to this particular fate. Had it not been for Strange doing what he did to do that, Baron is saying no. Even without you, because she did this. That's what it led the Zealots to Dormammu, because she couldn't not use the dark power from the dark realm and draw from Dormammu. Had she not done this, how do you know that that this would have happened? That's what he's saying. If this was the natural order of things, because he thought it's the full on disbelief that a person so good as the ancient was supposed to be still used that fear of dying and tapped in perverting the laws of nature, because she was supposed to die. She should have died, but what sustained her, he had no idea. And writing for Mordo to be that stupid, to me, was a bad idea, because he's completely fooled that, and just has no understanding that quite possibly the Ancient One, it's like, do you tell a white lie or do you tell the truth all the time? Type of like moral obligation here. It's like all of a sudden is what you have Mordo going through. She told this one little white lie and therefore she is always diminished to me.
I guess. I mean, like you said, I think that I would be more. I don't know how you. I mean, that's a difference in thought. I don't know how you could draw that out from that, but
I do. And like, imagine the look of a child when you disappoint them on something. That look of disbelief that they hold.
But the difference is but we're not talking about a child.
I know.
I mean, right? No, but I understand the statement you're making. But what I'm saying is, he is not a child, and to.
Oh yeah, no, he's not.
To equate that just because she didn't tell you what sustained her life of being able to survive Sentry was drawing upon the evil she swore to protect the realm from.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I look at things, and it could be I look at things too logically, going, that makes sense to me. And I realize, I mean, in some respects in these movies, you can't go that far and go, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. I don't see why they don't get it. But, I still say that it was kind of a sucky way to go to plan the sequel.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
If they are going to make a sequel.
Oh, they will. Doctor Strange did phenomenally well at the box office. The whole scene with Doctor Strange, Tony Stark, the Avengers movie has only kind of cemented him more in the Marvel Universe.
That he has to exist.
Right, that he has to exist. But I mean, the movie did well that they'll do a sequel. He will be part of Phase 4 somewhere in there along the line. But I think what's going to happen is the transition from your normal, say, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, possible Hulk movie, and then start up a new movie like, Doctor Strange or Black Panther or something. Now are going to be, you're not going to see, I think you're going to see one more Iron Man movie. I know that Chris Evans wants out as Captain America, so speculation is still that Avengers 4 is going to be Chris Evans' swan song as Captain America.
Yeah, that they're going to kill him.
That are they going to kill him like they did in the comic book, and then leave it open for another actor like in Avengers 5 down the road? And either have Bucky take up the mantle, or they're going to have the Falcon take up the mantle. Right. And so, of course, they'll do a Captain America movie with one of them taking up the mantle. That will give Black Widow a bigger part. I know she's supposed to have a bigger part in Avengers number 4. And, of course, the characters in Doctor Strange being one of them that vanished, of course, they're going to be coming back because, there's too much money involved for them not to come back.
Right.
So, especially when they want to make all these sequels, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and so forth. So, but I mean, overall for Doctor Strange, I'd give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. I'd give it an solid 8.5 out of 10.
Well, I also saw the 3D version, and I was just ecstatic. So this is going to be a 10 for me. This was when this movie came out, and I originally saw it in the theaters.